Have you ever heard a sound in the distance? A voice that seemed to call out just for you? Imagine you're deep in the heart of a lush, sprawling jungle. The air is thick with humidity, and the sounds of unseen creatures fill the night. You're alone, maybe a little lost, and then you hear a soft, desperate cry. It sounds like a woman, lost and in need of help. Your first instinct is to follow the sound, to be a hero. But in the jungles of Latin America, that instinct could be your last. This is the hunting ground of a creature so terrifying. Its legend has been passed down through generations, whispered in hushed tones around campfires. They call her La Patasola, the story of La Patasola, which translates to the one-legged woman, is one of the most enduring and frightening tales in South American folklore. It's a cautionary tale, a ghost story, and a monstrous legend all rolled into one, meant to warn menloggers, hunters, miners, and travelers of the dangers that lurk far from the safety of civilization. The legend varies from region to region, but the core elements remain chillingly consistent. It always begins with an irresistible temptation. La Patasola doesn't stalk her prey like a typical predator. She is a master of deception. She appears to her unsuspecting victims as a stunningly beautiful woman. Some say she has long, flowing black hair, captivating eyes, and a voice that can charm the very soul of a man. She materializes on the edge of a path or near a stream, looking distressed and alone. She might be weeping, or she might call out, claiming to be lost. Her beauty is disarming. Her plea for help is convincing. And for a lone man who has been isolated in the wilderness for days or weeks, the sight of her is an apparition he can't possibly ignore. This is her trap. The man, driven by a mix of compassion, curiosity, and desire, approaches her. He offers his help, his protection. She seems grateful, maybe even flirty. She leads him further and further away from the trail, deeper into the dark, tangled heart of the jungle. He follows willingly, completely under her spell, oblivious to the fact that he's being led not to safety, but to his doom. The jungle grows darker around them. The familiar sounds fade away, and a strange, unnerving silence takes over. He's so focused on her enchanting voice and mesmerizing beauty, that he doesn't notice the path has disappeared. He doesn't notice they're completely and utterly alone. It's only when he's too far in, with no hope of finding his way back, that the transformation happens. The moment he thinks he's earned her trust, perhaps when he reaches out to touch her, the beautiful illusion shatters. Her enchanting face contorts into a grotesque mask of pure horror. Her eyes bulge, filled with a primal fury. Her mouth, once smiling, opens impossibly wide to reveal a single sharp fang, like that of a jaguar, set in a jaw capable of tearing flesh from bone. Her once perfect features become monstrous and distorted, a face of nightmares. And then he sees the source of her name. He looks down and realizes the beautiful woman he was following doesn't have two legs. She stands, or rather, hops on a single animal-like leg, ending in a large, gnarled hoof or a bear-like claw. She moves with an unsettling, supernatural speed, bounding through the undergrowth with an agility that defies her single limb. The beautiful woman is gone, replaced by a fiendish, one-legged monster whose only desire is to feed. At this point, terror paralyzes the victim. The realization of what he's fallen for is overwhelming. The creature lets out a blood-curdling scream that echoes through the jungle, a sound of pure, unadulterated malice. She is said to be incredibly strong and violent. She attacks with a ferocity that is unmatched, using her fangs and claws to rip her victims apart. Her hunger is insatiable, and she is known to drink the blood and devour the flesh of the men she lures into her trap. The aftermath is always gruesome. When search parties are sent to look for the missing man, they rarely find a body. More often, they find only traces of the violent encounter. A tattered piece of clothing, a single boot, and spatters of blood on the leaves. Sometimes, a horribly mutilated corpse is discovered, torn to shreds in a way that no natural predator could replicate. The cause of death is always a mystery to outsiders, but the locals know exactly what happened. They shake their heads and whisper her name, But where did this terrifying creature come from? Like many legends, the origin of La Patasola is a tragic story of betrayal and revenge. One popular version tells of a beautiful woman who was married to a peasant. She was unfaithful, cheating on her husband with his boss, a wealthy landowner. When her husband discovered the affair, he was consumed by a jealous rage. In his fury, he murdered both his wife and her lover. As a punishment for her infidelity, her spirit was cursed to roam the earth. But another, even more gruesome version of the tale says the husband, in his rage, took an axe and chopped off one of her legs. He then left her to bleed to death in the wilderness. Her tormented spirit, filled with rage and a thirst for vengeance against the men who wronged her, was reborn as the monstrous La Patasola. This origin story adds another layer to the legend. She's not just a mindless monster. She is a vengeful spirit. She targets men, particularly those who are unfaithful or have ill intentions in their hearts, luring them with the same beauty that led to her own tragic demise. In this way, the story becomes a powerful moral lesson, a warning against infidelity and betrayal. It's also seen by some as a tale of female empowerment, albeit a terrifying one. She is a protector of the untamed wilderness, a fierce guardian who punishes those who enter her domain with disrespect and lust. The legend of La Patasola also serves a very practical purpose. It's a way for parents to keep their children from wandering off into the dangerous jungle. It's a story told to hunters and loggers to remind them to respect nature and to be wary of its hidden dangers. The message is clear. Do not stray from the path. Do not trust strangers you meet in the wild. And never, ever follow the enchanting voice of a woman crying for help in the woods. Because if you do, you might just find yourself face to face with La Patasola, and by then it will be far too late. To this day, in rural parts of Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil, the fear of La Patasola is very real. People who live near the jungles firmly believe in her existence. They share stories of strange disappearances, of hunters who went into the forest and never returned. Some even claim to have heard her cries at night, a chilling, mournful sound that they know to ignore. They will tell you that the jungle has its own rules, its own guardians, and La Patasola is one of its most fearsome. She is a stark reminder that some of the most beautiful things in the world can also be the most deadly. So next time you find yourself in a remote, wooded area, and you hear a sound that seems too good to be true, think twice before you investigate. It might just be the wind, or a lost animal. Or it could be something else entirely. Something ancient and hungry, waiting for you in the shadows. Something with one leg. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of darkness with one of Latin America's most terrifying legends. What do you think? Is La Patasola a vengeful spirit, a protector of the jungle, or simply a story to keep people safe? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the world of urban legends. Stay safe out there.